making fun of my love of Xanadu also. Bastard. That's what movie we should do a commentary on. Xanadu when we get together.
That's when I don't have to have that confusion as to why it's popular, because it's not popular. You're like the only person I know who likes that movie.
I bet Hero likes that movie.
Maybe.
I don't have it on DVD though, so.
Really? Well, I would think you'd have it on Blu-ray by now.
I still haven't hooked up my Blu-ray player. Still in a box somewhere in the garage.
That's helpful.
Well, I didn't think you had a garage, Bill.
Well, obviously you haven't listened to the.
You haven't
that hasn't even come out yet. Shag was the garage whisperer. Because he too podcasts from the garage. I have a fellow room that is not a room podcaster.
Must be a Florida thing.
He embraced his garage as being such. He doesn't.
And with me, as always, is my good friend, Dr. Bill Robinson.
Hello.
And this time, don't ask me how we got him here, but we have the producer, Paul Spataro, with us.
Hello.
Oh, man, I can't get away from you.
That's because I keep following you.
No.
You guys said you were going to be on Skype. It's like, come on, let me on. I don't like when shows are recorded without me there.
Me.
It is all about me, let's be fair.
You're like Agent Smith in The Matrix. Me too.
Do you know I've never seen that?
Really? Or the second one or the third one? Well, I guess if you hadn't seen the first one, you didn't see the other two.
Yeah, that would be correct.
That's usually how it works, yeah.
The first time I saw that, it was like, whoa, I was about to do Keanu Reeves. Whoa. And then the second one, the third one kind of got out there, but it's not a Matrix podcast unless we cover the Animatrix short film. Eventually, we could do that and then talk about the Matrix.
But we're not doing that this episode.
Right, and we're not doing that for our mid-season break either, are we?
No, we actually do have a movie to watch for our mid-season break. Thank you to everybody that wrote in and gave us suggestions, but we have decided to make the college-age Chris Tyler very happy and go with Ninja Scroll, which neither of us has ever seen, so that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I watched the first few minutes of it the other day, and it's like, it's pretty cool. It's like kind of the style of Fist of the North Star, but a little more ninja-y, I guess, if that's a word.
I would hope so, if it's got ninja in the title.
No, this is true.
So that will be our next episode. But for this episode, we are going to be covering 3 episodes of Star Blazers, taking us exactly to the midpoint of Season 1. Unless there was any other anime news we wanted to cover, but I don't think there is.
Well, there was we had talked briefly a little bit before the show about the release of the
Star Blazers $21.99.
And that it's expensive.
It's $50 a disc. So, and that's for American-produced stuff. That's not Japanese imports. That's in English by Voyager Entertainment. So,
yeah. So you expect to pay that much for an import, but not something that's over here.
Well, we ain't buying it.
No.
That's not to say that certain listeners couldn't provide us with copies. We would not turn that down, but we're not laying out the cash.
Perhaps a show viewing copy to be. To have, we'll have 50-50 parental rights throughout the year. You get it 6 months, I get it 6 months.
I used to do stuff like that with videos in college.
Oh. Hey, we're young at heart.
Okay, insert song here.
Very good.
I wasn't going to sing it. Don't worry about that.
I figured the old guy would. Jimmy Durante over there.
I got a million of them.
I do know the words, but I will refrain from singing it this time.
Good night, Nova, wherever you are. So before we jump into the actual episodes, might want to ask our guest host this time around if he has any, because this is the first time you've seen any Star Blazers, and we kind of dumped you literally right at the halfway point of the first season, and just we're curious of some of your assessments or overall thoughts of what's going on, or what you think in general of the show at this point.
Okay, well, here's the deal. I have never been an anime fan. In fact, I find the art style to be a little off-putting.
Oh, well, you know what? We're out of time, Paul, so it's been nice to talk to you, and I'll see y'all back to the bids later.
But when you two suggested that I try and watch it, I decided, let me keep an open mind. Let me try and watch this, and not be, just automatically against it. And I found it to be entertaining. It isn't my preferred style of animation, and I don't think it ever will be. But it didn't totally preclude me from watching it and getting into the show. It was probably a little bit more mature than I anticipated as far as the attitude of the show. I kind of remember watching, Japanese cartoons like Gigantor and Speed Racer and things like that as a kid, and just, look back on them as being kind of childish. But, I thought this is more lined up for somebody probably in their mid-teens than it is for a younger viewing audience than that.
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment.
My impression was it's very Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have a quest. Yeah.
So, but we'll talk about the individual episodes that we watched. But I did find it to be entertaining. I can't say I'm hooked because free time is always at a premium. Mm-hmm. But I would not be opposed to watching more.
Oh, cool.
You can't ask for more than that, really. Yeah,
you might want to go back and watch the first couple because like I said before, we kind of jumped in with right in the middle with you. I mean, but each show does a recap, like the general theme of the season, and then a recap of the last few shows but still, it's a little bit different to watch those actual full episodes to get the full effect. So
I think I would be more inclined to watch it if it was available on Netflix. I wasn't able to find you gave me a link to the YouTube video that I watched it on. I was not able to, even though I have the Blu-ray player I have hooked up to my TV set has access to YouTube on it, but I wasn't able to find that link on there. So I wasn't able to watch it on the regular big screen TV, which I think I would have preferred much more. Instead, I watched it on my tablet, and that probably took a little something away from it.
Yeah. Well, those are also, where else are they, Gene? They're on Hulu?
They're on Hulu, but they're web only on Hulu. So you can't get it like through Hulu Plus or anything.
I wonder if they have them at my local library, perhaps.
They might.
I have the videotapes. I have all 3 seasons on videotape, but
I still do own a VCR, so.
Ooh, I could bring them with me to New York.
Aha!
Could have a Star Blazers marathon. We could watch crappy video.
Because you got nothing else to do when you're in New York.
Yeah. You guys go to the con. I'm watching Star Blazers again. Right in the middle of season 2 of the Comet Empire. Don't worry, I'll be here.
Well, if they have it at my library, then I may try and get them and reproduce them in some way.
Dun dun dun.
Weren't we just talking before the show how you weren't going to try and go to jail?
That's true. You know what? I will not reproduce them.
So Spataro, what are you in for? I make copies of Star Blazers.
Copies of Star Blazers. And Deathlock got me.
And all the people just scooted away to the end of the bench. You can get any DVDs you want in Paul's restaurant, except the Star Blazers.
Well, I mean, how long ago was it that you did your Star Blazers rant on Back to the Bins? It's got to be close to a year ago, right?
Oh, yeah, it was with you and J. David Weeder, right? And you both just I just went on and just was raving, and you guys are like, huh?
I mean, I know my eyes were glazed over by the time you were done.
Yeah, because we did the Assistant Editors Month, and that was August. And that it had been rolling around in both our heads for a while before that. So, the rant has to be close to a year now.
Yeah. Oh, Alva just came in. It's feeding time. Come on, feed me.
Where does Alvin fall on Star Blazers? Fan? No? Yes?
No,
He's with Deathlock.
Yeah, he's Deathlock's pet. Except when there's thunder and he runs like a scaredy cat like he did tonight. Yeah, so that rant was, I don't even know where that came from. How we even got on that topic. And then I was like, oh, you guys don't know anything about Star Blazers?
Yeah, you had mentioned it as like, oh, well, this reminds me of Star Blazers for some reason. And then it was like, what?
Was that
At which point you went off.
Was that the episode where we're talking about the Aquaman issue and Doug Henning?
I've listened to 10,000 Two True Freaks episodes. You expect me to remember that one?
Yes, you're like the Mr. Data. We could just, you just sit there and you go accessing. I mean, my God, your Facebook picture, you're wearing a Starfleet uniform, so come on, Mr. Data, spit it out.
Yeah, you know why I'm wearing that uniform? Because that uniform has never fit me. Yes, because I can. I bought it. It was the largest size they had. It has never fit me until now. Ha ha ha.
I got a Star Trek uniform. I got one of the Orion Slave Girl outfits. I think Gene passed out.
Oh, God.
I'm trying not to choke on my drink. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay.
Customer satisfaction.
Well, maybe for MegaCon, maybe I'll cosplay as Nova.
I'd say we just found out.
Although I probably could do a good Orion would probably be more the body type that I would fit.
Lieutenant Commander
World Star.
With the best crew. Any captain.
I'm gonna punch you in the face.
This may
Especially
be the
after.
last time
No. That was him and Venture from our.
Yeah, that was him and Venture.
And of scientific exploration.
Well, we'll get into that when we get to the episode.
Yes, we will. Which we should probably get rolling on that. So I guess that's a good segue, and I guess we'll drop in a promo for somebody that's on the show right here.
Could
be something else. Could be a promo for Alvin's new album that Alvin's working on with Christopher Lee, that Billy Joel Metal Concept coverage album that they're going to do together.
Deep Space
With
Nine
backup
Two
vocals
True
by
Freaks
William
presentation with Sean Engel and Andrew Leyland.
And now with 100% more Paul Spataro.
We'll be right back, folks.
Welcome back. I believe I have the first episode this time out, which is a weird switch, but what the heck. Okay, episode 11, The Deathlock Mines. We open at Gamelon headquarters where, following the death of Colonel Gans, Leader Deathlock has taken a personal interest in the Star Force. Crypt brings Deathlock and the audience up to speed on everything that has happened so far, while General Talon boasts about the new mine that they've invented and named after their beloved leader. An entire field of these mines has been placed in the path of the Argo. Seeing the minefield in enough time, Avatar orders the Argo to fly around it. The mines, however, react to the movement and surround the ship. A signal is detected that is apparently controlling the mines, so Sandor and IQ, I have programmed myself to have Hiccups 9, go out to find the source. While they are out, the mines continue to drift closer. So Avatar orders the ship to tilt in order to avoid the electromagnetic waves that will detonate the mines. Sandor and IQ find the control mine and deactivate it. Actually, IQ deactivates it while Sandor stands by and hurls insults at him. The mines stop moving, but they are still live. So Avatar orders Wildstar, who has been particularly annoying this episode, and the Black Tigers to move them out of the ship's path by hand. Deathlock, contrary to the supervillain rules, is not upset by this turn of events. He actually tells Crypt to send congratulations to Captain Avatar. Eager, who for some reason is manning the communications console, receives the message and brings it to Avatar before attempting to locate the origin point. The Star Force continues on its mission with only 311 days left to save the Earth.
Dun, da, 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 da. Well, that's not the typical in music. More uplifting. It's got the uplifting voices in it. Da, 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 da. Man, I want a balloon ship. Can I get a giant balloon?
No, the giant balloon was in the Star Trek animated series, where it was 10 times bigger than the Enterprise. This one's a tiny one.
Still, I'll take one. It was so cute. Coming out, little remote control. Okay, is the balloon ship made out of metal? Why did it blow up the mines? Oh, let's send out the decoy. Okay, why don't you send out a metal decoy? Why are you sending out a giant inflatable balloon? Whatever.
So did anyone else want to slap Wildstar in this episode?
Oh, my quote, and, well, I won't say it because it'll cause editing, but was, hey, Wildstar, shut the F up. The guy's trying to pilot through a minefield, you moron. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, woo. The only thing
now,
that
how big of a character is Wildstar, and Wildstorm, whatever the hell his name is in this show?
Wildstar, he is basically the hero character.
He looks like Speed Racer.
A little bit. He's got the anime hair going, but
and he's even got like the similar voice, I thought.
That could be the actor. I don't know.
I doubt it. Speed Racer's 40, 50 years ago. I don't think it's going to be the same actor.
Well, this is
over 40 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is from the late 70s.
Okay, so maybe it might be
mid 70s, right?
Yeah. Well,
yeah. The U.S. version's a little later, but
the U.S. version was like 78 or something, I think. But the original was from like 72. But Speed Racer and Star Blazers, they all came over to the U.S. around the same time period.
I think Speed Racer was a little earlier because I remember it prior to Star Blazers by a couple years. The only thing he could have done that would have been any worse is if he put his hands over Venture's eyes, guess who? Like, schmuck, sit down. Somebody shoot him. Anything. And what was it, me? Or at some point did I see Orion turn a steam valve in the engine room?
You saw Orion turn a valve.
Okay, but I was like, well, a valve?
It may have been a steam valve. I don't know.
I know. It's like, well, they had some funky music with the mines. Nice synthy music.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, but was this the first appearance of the Deathlock chant?
Not a very creative chant. Deathlock, Deathlock, Deathlock.
Deathlock, Deathlock, Deathlock. Deathlock,
It's stuck in your head.
Spataro, Spataro.
Well, didn't they chant the same thing for
Lysis?
Yeah.
Somebody else, for Lysis, I guess. Yeah, in the third episode we're going to do today.
Lysis.
Yeah, well, it's a Gamelon thing. That's how they chant.
I want my own chant. Bill.
No, Robinson.
Robinson. Dr. Bill. Hendrix. See, it just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But Spataro doesn't. Spataro. Yeah, just.
I happen to be a tongue twister. What can I tell you?
Producer. Yeah. Now, I had a note here, but I watched this episode. All right, was this the one with? Was it Nova wishing on a star and stuff?
No, that was the next one.
Oh, that's the next one. I had a note on here. It said boys. Maybe it's because they were all fighting.
That's the next one.
Yeah,
that's the next one.
But then I've got I got a note that says, hey, Orion, do your damn job, because he's down there going forward, backward, make up your goddamn mind. It's like, hey, your job is to go where we tell you to go. You pull it forward, you pull it backward. We're the run in the ship. You're the guy in the engine room. Shut up. Do your job. Know your role and shut your mouth. And yes, I just quoted The Rock. Need to get The Rock on that ship. Lay the smack down. Dwayne Johnson is Captain Avatar. It doesn't matter where the Gamelons are.
Just as a thought on this episode, though, and I said earlier it was a little bit more mature than I anticipated, but it was also more mature in just its general presentation, because I thought it was kind of a slow burn as it went along, which is not something I anticipate from a cartoon.
Yeah, we're starting to get into the more
cerebral.
Yeah, more cerebral, because the first few episodes there were blatant contradictions. They obviously kiddified things, but since Gans's death, it's been
which is the last episode, correct?
2 episodes ago, actually.
Okay.
It's been getting more. Yeah, people are going to die, and you'll see that in one of them. Oh yeah, in the 3rd episode we're going to cover. They make no bones about. Yeah, we're killing Gamelons here. There's no, oh, well, they got away and all. No, they're done with that. Now we are killing people. It's getting to be more, like you said, cerebral, more on a higher, age bracket, I would say, as far as it goes.
Yeah, because the first few were a little more action-packed and didn't make a lot of sense. It was just really blowing some stuff up, having a good time. I guess if you want to look at it that way. And now we're getting into consequences. And
consequences, schmonsequences, as long as I'm rich.
But we still get a little bit of humor. We had like you said in the synopsis, this time around IQ. See, the gag with IQ9, Paul, is that he always seems to program himself for something that he shouldn't be able to do. Like this time around, he decided to program himself for hiccups while doing bomb disposal.
Now, this is another thing where they've edited the Japanese one. Apparently, Dr. Sane, in the Japanese version, this is something that's cut out of this version, he is blitzed, and he manages to get IQ9 drunk.
So that's where the hiccups came from.
Yeah, so that's where the hiccup came from. He is actually drunk. He's gotten into the spring water.
Yeah, that's the other gag. You didn't see it in these 3 episodes, but usually a lot of times you'll see Dr. Sane sit down and he says he's drinking some spring water
from a shot glass.
It's a sake glass. That's what he's drinking. Yeah, he's getting blitzed. So it's great to know the ship doctor. Well, he's pretty much like Dr. McCoy on Star Trek. He's always got a little hooch hitting around.
A little Romulan ale.
Exactly. Yeah. Strictly for medicinal purposes. Yeah, it was good to hear the funky gamelan music again. That sounds like. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I find it really interesting that Deathlock, he doesn't care if people promote their own ideas, try and suck up to them. You laugh at your own jokes, you're dead.
I always find it amazing when they have the trap door and it just happens to be exactly where the person is standing. That they
I know.
I think
room full of people.
I think there's trapdoors under all of them. No, knowing Deathlock, I think there's a trapdoor under every single guy. Because you and I had talked a little bit about it a few days ago, and you had compared it to Dr. Evil, right?
I'm hurt very badly. And I'm burned over half my body, but I think I can make my way out.
Now, I hadn't seen this one in a long time, so when that guy started to laugh, I'm going, does that guy get dropped down a trap door? And then they panned over. I'm like, oh, maybe not. Oh, yeah. And he's still laughing when he falls. Gone. So did he fall into the Willy Wonka incinerator, or maybe to the chocolate plant? Or?
He's going to come back up with a pasted mustache on.
Oh.
That was like a point where the episode did seem to be less serious. It almost seemed out of, like it wasn't in tune with the rest of the episode. Because the rest of the episode did seem, pretty much serious. And then they had like the moment of silliness, and then they went back to seriousness for the most part.
But the look on Deathlock's face when that guy's laughing, he's just like, you son of a... Reaches over, bleep, gone. Now, I caught a little continuity thing in this, and I think you guys probably did too. At one point, Deathlock says, Avatar's name, and I marked it. It was 11 minutes and 40 seconds.
Right.
At the end of the episode, he says, "What's the name of the Star Force's captain? Send him my regards." I'm like, wait a minute. You already know his name. You said it earlier.
Right. Yeah, that is definitely a continuity glitch. I'm wondering if it's something that they had to cover the mouth movements, and that's the only thing they could think of to fit in there, even though it didn't make sense.
Yeah, because he was probably
I'm wondering if
saying
it has
a-hole.
something to do with translating it from Japanese.
Yeah.
What's the name of the a-hole running the ship over there? A-hole
Just-
Avatar.
Another observation on it, just from somebody who doesn't watch anime generally, is I really kind of didn't like the character model on Avatar. He looks, just a little too much like Popeye.
He looks more like Pappy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, an old, very old Popeye.
An old fat Pappy.
Yeah, well, he's the only one not in a Star Force uniform, too, so that kind of...
Well, that's like because we've seen that uniform on other captains of other ships. So I think that's like the Captain Star Force uniform.
Well, no, because if you remember the first episode, no one else was in a Star Force uniform. It was only Wildstar and Venture initially.
Yeah, but Derek's brother had that style.
But the crew people, they all had blue uniforms with the anchor on it,
right?
Not the arrow.
Hmm.
Even though the arrow is a stylized anchor, but we won't get into that.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying that's like I think that's like for this, because we'll see that in like the next season. The captain of the Andromeda, he has like the black.
Yeah.
The same style coat as Avatar does here. It doesn't. I have one other note, and it's the big bold letters. Tilt the damn ship. Doesn't Avatar yell that? Tilt the ship!
Well, he yells to tilt the ship, and then Venture Gump
turns
turns around. Tilt the ship, Captain? You're in space, dumbass. It doesn't matter.
And then he screams at him, tilt the ship! Yeah, the other running gag, Paul, is that we think Captain Avatar needs more prune juice. He's really cranky. He's really constipated. I think in the next episode, that's probably what happened there,
Now, have you guys ever considered, if they made this live action, who you would cast in these roles?
They already
make
have
it live action.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
It's not live action in America, but they have Japanese actors, and they are almost dead on.
Then that doesn't eliminate my thought, because you could still, if you were going to do this as an American movie.
I don't know. Have we discussed that?
No, we have not.
That's an interesting question.
How about as Avatar, you get Wilford Brimley?
Give me more prune juice for my diabetes.
Oh, I have diabetes. We gotta find a Gamelon. Gonna give him space diabetes.
What if you took Wilford Brimley from his Cocoon days, not current? I think he might be able to play the part.
Yeah.
Or Jackie Gleason? Nah.
He did do, he was able to be a serious actor.
Yeah. Just trying to think of somebody kind of grizzled looking. I mean, Wilford Brimley is kind of grizzled looking now, but I'm trying to think of somebody.
He's always been grizzled looking, even when he's younger than I am.
You know who would be a good choice just because I would want to see how he handled the part?
Gary Busey?
Tommy Lee Jones.
As Captain Avatar. Man, we got to go after the Gamelons.
Well, I'm just thinking of from Captain America.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. So, all right. So, who would be Nova? Are we going to go with Scarlett Johansson?
No.
Hey, all right. Somebody else does a Nova joke. I'm usually the one that has to do that. Nova. Taylor! World Star! And if nobody knows what we're talking about, go back last summer and go listen to the Planet of the Apes Back to the Bins podcast and Two True Freaks podcast for the Summer of Apes. I don't know. Who would be a good Nova nowadays?
Now you said ScarJo, and that's all I can get in my head. I have to...
You got to push that out.
Yeah, push that out and try and think.
Well, Nova's kind of a brunette. No, she's not brunette. She's brown.
No,
brunette, yeah.
She's like, halfway between brunette and redhead.
Yeah.
Now, it's got to be someone that doesn't have as much meat on her as Scarlett Johansson, because Nova is a stick.
Karen Carpenter? Too soon?
Oh, that was just evil.
Sorry.
I mean, she's only just begun.
Uh,
So somebody who's got that waif-like quality, but she didn't look like an airhead to me.
no.
So you're not looking for that.
What about Allison Hannigan?
Oh.
I don't know. See, I think she plays kind of a little goofy.
Yeah, but she can be.
She can be serious.
Yeah.
See, I haven't watched that many episodes of Buffy, so I'm not sure about her range. I've seen her more on, the American Pie movies and How I Met Your Mother.
Well, even on How I Met Your Mother, she has moments where you can see, yeah, she could be tough.
So we got Wildstar.
Wildstar goes from being annoying to a coward in like 2 seconds.
Steve Buscemi. No. I think Steve Buscemi should play Sandor, sorry, the science guy.
I could see that, actually.
Because then when his little machine pops out things, hey, Sandor, this thing makes everything you need 4 times smaller than it needs to be. Oh, there's some bugs to be worked out. I'm working on it. And then,
I'm thinking for Deathlock, I'm thinking of, what's the guy's name? Is it Jason? He was Malfoy's father in the Harry Potter movies.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was also Captain Hook in that Peter Pan movie.
And he was in The Patriot. He was basically Mel Gibson's opposite number in that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to get Matthew McConaughey somewhere in here. I was going to have him for Deathlock because I want to see Deathlock say, all right, all right, all right.
Well, I'm picturing, and it's why I picked the actor I
he could be eager. 20,000 megameters, Captain.
But Deathlock's delivery is just so... I'm tempted to say deadpan, but that's really not the word I'm looking for. But just so, understated.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just picturing the way that particular actor, when he was speaking to Harry Potter.
Yeah, because he knows something that you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
He's
talking about stuff on a completely different level that you are not even aware of what's going on. And he's smug about it, and he's right in your face, with his little the Star Force
glove.
Wilford Brimley could also be Orion, if we wanted to cast him as Orion. Who else could be a good Orion?
That's a good question.
Got to be an old guy, fat. I'm not that old yet.
I'm available.
Well, if you don't mind people from decades ago that aren't alive anymore, Boss Hogg.
Sora Brooke? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we can go to people that are dead. Yeah.
I can see it.
Jimmy Durante could be Orion.
No, Jimmy Durante's Dr. Sane.
Well, apparently my dog wants to comment too. Shut up
apparently.
out there. Comment says, I vote for Jimmy Durante. Okay, for Venture, if we're going with people that aren't alive or in their prime, what about Tony Curtis is Venture?
That would work.
Or Tom Hanks for Venture Gump. Yeah, Venture was a little thick early on, so we ended up naming him Venture Gump. It's because, he's supposed to pilot the ship, and in one of the episodes, Captain Avatar goes, begin, what is it? Power up sequence.
Oh, crap. Yeah, it was something obvious, begin power buildup.
Yeah, begin power buildup, and he goes, excuse me, Captain, what is power buildup mean? And I would be like, get this man off my bridge. What the hell's wrong with you? We got to work Arnold in there somewhere.
He could be Conroy.
Conroy.
Picture him, flying a black tiger.
Yeah, he's all big giant guy stuffed in a little cockpit. I can't move in here.
I've got the gamelan in my sights. That was the worst Arnold impression you will hear on this show.
No comment. Come on, you could do better than that, Gene. You should be practicing your Arnold impersonations because you got to work on it and build it up. Come on.
I don't even think he gave us a lot when he was on Back to the Bins.
You can give me a chance.
For shame.
There's nothing preventing you from breaking into a lot at any given moment.
Come on. You know you want to do it. All the other kids are doing it.
Wrong show.
If you're one of us, you'll do it.
So, we got anything else on the Deathlock mines that really, except, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
He's not the highest
I know what I was
paid
gonna say.
podcaster in the country for nothing.
So they go off when they contact metal, but I guess the control mine does not explode when it hits metal because maybe you don't want to blow up the control mine. You know what I mean?
Because then you couldn't control the
Or
other
all
mines.
the other mines. But you think they'd just be independent and just go towards whatever magnetic source would come into range. You wouldn't need a control mine. That's where they screwed up. See, they need to have me running that stuff. Yeah, right.
Well, that's what Deathlock said in the episode. He said the barbarians realize that sometimes the easiest solution is the simplest.
Mm-hmm.
The Gamelons overthink things.
Yep. As in the next episode, we'll go through another highly elaborate plot that will come to naught, which I guess leads us to episode 12, and our guest will read us the synopsis for that issue or episode. Are you ready there, Mr. P?
I am ready.
Take it away.
Episode 12, The Sea of Fire. Deathlock, getting some satisfaction out of seeing his inferior officers fail at their attempt to stop the Star Force with space mines, now offers his own solution, a matter-eating ecto-gas. Deathlock plans to use the gas and an electromagnetic force net to chase the Star Force into the corona of a giant red star, Voltan, the Sea of Fire. He is so confident of his new invention that he tells General Crypt not to bother reporting on the success, and strides off to his bedroom to dream of conquests of other worlds. The Gamelons begin their offensive by ensnaring the Argo in a powerful electromagnetic space net, and then sending a volley of missiles. Captain Avatar suffers a blackout, which he attributes to an earlier battle wound, and fails to order their interception. Wildstar initiates it instead without the order, leading to a later reprimand. The ship barely manages to pull out of the space net and evade the Gamelon missiles. Dr. Sane knows the real reason for Avatar's collapse: radiation poisoning. Privately, he urges Avatar to consider hospitalization, a suggestion which Avatar adamantly rejects. With the Star Force's flight path restricted by the space net, the Gamelons then loose Deathlock's ecto-gas upon the Star Force from behind, forcing them to flee towards the red star of Voltan. There is no choice but to fly dangerously close to the corona, and the ship and crew are on the verge of melting. But the plan backfires when the ecto-gas is drawn into the Sea of Fire, and the Star Force clears a safe path through the fire with a blast of the wave motion gun. On Gamelon, Deathlock rebuffs his aide, General Crypt's suggestion that they send out interceptors, and instead suggests sending congratulations. He muses to himself, how could the Star Force have escaped? It was a perfect trap. Earth has 308 days left.
I so badly through the synopsis wanted to say, when you said Voltan, I wanted to go, Gordon's alive! And every time you said ectogas, I wanted to do a fart sound, but I didn't.
See, I wanted to play the Ghostbusters theme.
And then Sea of Fire, I wanted to sing Johnny Cash. So, but
and then also, I just wanted to do a little Dr. Evil with when Deathlock just walks away and we'll just trust that they're all dead and don't worry. No, in my room I have a gun. We'll get it. We'll kill them. It'll be fun.
No, Scotty, no. And speaking of Scotty,
put them on the ever slow moving thing.
Molten magma. So Captain Avatar has radiation poisoning.
Okay, now I'm gonna give you my take on it, and you could tell me why I'm right or wrong.
Okay.
And again, this is the second episode I'm ever watching of this series. It seemed to me like, okay, they're falling into a little bit of a rut here. We had an episode where there was the death trap set and they escaped it. Now we have another episode where there's a death trap set and they escape it. It's a little bit of a different death trap, but it's still a very, very similar plot line as far as that goes. It was the crew that did the first one. Now it's Deathlock's plan, and either way they escaped it both times. I really thought that the quality from this episode came more from Avatar's sickness than it did from the main storyline because of that. And that's my take on it. What do you guys think?
Well, this is really only the second time they've had a death trap like this. Up till now, they've been trying to get out of the solar system, and it's been Gamelon bases or Gamelon patrols that they've run into. It's never been an actual trap.
Well, the reflex gun might have been a little bit of a trap because...
Well, that was more of a ruse to get them in there. It wasn't put this in their way and it will destroy them. It was bring them in close so we can shoot them better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these were the only two ones that had actual, what you would call James Bond type death traps.
Mm-hmm.
So they may have started a rut, but they're not continuing one.
Okay. Like I said, it's only 2 episodes, but it just seemed a little too similar.
Right.
Unless they were trying to do exactly what I said, and that's the contrast that they wanted you to take out of it, was that the first one was the crew, and now, you know, Deathlock, feeling so superior to the crew, comes up with his own plan, and basically it's defeated with about the same level of effort.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I should point out to anyone that, like Paul, has not watched these episodes, Avatar's illness is a huge plot point for the rest of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the rest
Now,
of the season.
I think we've seen it a little bit prior to this. Did we see it maybe one other time? It hasn't been pronounced too much.
No, in the first episode is when he's recovering from his wound,
Mm-hmm.
and Dr. Sane says something about, you can't do this, your wound isn't fully... It's either Dr. Sane or it's the Earth Commander says, well, your wound isn't fully healed yet. But this is the first time we ever get an indication it's more than just a wound, it's also radiation poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
I keep thinking Avatar Insane and Pray for Rain. Which, if you're a fan of old-time baseball, you'll know what that is.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
So apparently Dr. Bill does not. I don't know about Eugene.
It's not ringing a bell.
It was in the old... I mean, I think we're talking like the early 60s, and I think it was then the Milwaukee Braves had 2 really, really good pitchers, Warren Spahn and Johnny Sane, and the expression was Spahn and Sane and then pray for rain.
Cool.
All right,
So
that's my insight. I'm sorry.
No, that's cool.
And I noticed one thing about Avatar in this. Apparently he's studied under George S. Patton, because when Wildstar gets up in his face, he slaps him.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you know, I mean, I think they're trying to show that the stakes are really, really high here.
We're in deep space. There's no... Well, I mean, but, okay, Wildstar may have saved them with what he did, and Avatar gets in his face, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, he speaks of discipline. I would be like, you know, WTF, you blacked out. What are we supposed to do? Somebody had to do something because you were incapacitated. Yeah, it was I kind of felt that wasn't as fully justified with the way Avatar was acting. Now, we know it's because he's kind of hiding his illness and everything, but still.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. I think he's trying to prevent people from thinking that he's got a weakness that they have to start looking out for.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, you know, especially since, this illness is going to continue through the season, that could be something that could come back to bite them on the ass, because he could black out at a critical moment where nobody does follow up and they can end up dead because of it. But, right. You know, it's a small price to pay for him to not be embarrassed.
Just like you said earlier, consequences, schmonsequences. As long as I'm the captain.
As long as I get to eat me spinach.
Me spinach and prune juice.
Oh, God, there's a combination.
Whoa, man. So my question is, what's so great about the Magellanic Cloud anyway? What's that? It's the Greater Magellanic Cloud.
Oh, it just means it's greater than something.
It's better than the Lesser Magellanic Cloud. And then, because that's where Nova's looking at it and she makes a wish, and then, Wildstar's just a complete idiot here.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you wish for? Duh. You're a girl. And then at the end of the show, he's trying to get her. So what did you wish for? Oh, I don't know. For somebody, somebody to fall in love with. Hey, wait, come back. What a tease. She's such a tease. Of course, she's wearing that yellow outfit, and packing it. She's packing heat, folks. Be careful. All the women pack heat. on the Argo.
Here's a question for you, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
In your experience,
Uh-oh.
Do all your women pack heat?
That depends on what the definition of is.
is there only ever one shift of a bridge crew and that's it?
No, what? No, because that's the same thing on the Enterprise where, for a longest, like, how come everything happens when Captain puts guards on shift?
No,
now, maybe they come on and relieve the people that are there.
Yeah, but in this case, you had the bridge crew, Venture, Wildstar, everybody running onto the bridge, and no one was there.
Yeah, I had a note. Oh, in the next episode to where, I'll say it here, because in the next episode, everybody else is downstairs because of a certain person that's been brought on the ship, and they're like, hey, who's keeping the ship on course? The captain. Oh, what, the captain with the wound, with the blackout problem? Is the only guy upstairs? Hello? Get your ass up there, Venture. Somebody pilot the damn ship. So, but anyway. No, usually you have different officers of the deck who man the bridge, and then if some goes down, you go to general quarters, and then that's where everybody mans their battle stations.
Right, but the ship isn't
during regular cruising. You have shifts where people rotate.
Yeah, you don't just have the ship pointed in one direction and no one at the wheel.
No, not at all. No, everybody's not just let's go. Like when they have those little meetings sometimes, which we didn't see here. So Paul's never, at least I don't think, maybe we did. Well, no, because they brought stuff up on the video screen overhead, whereas before we've seen them in this, I think it's in Avatar's quarters, maybe?
No, it's a separate room. It's a big room with a video monitor on the floor. Yeah,
in the floor. So they're all standing on looking at the, I'm surprised one of the guys doesn't freak out when they turn it into like a picture of space. Oh, I'm falling. Holy crap. And it's always out of focus, too. It's always kind of moving, and it's like, come on, is there no gain or amplitude, or can we tweak this picture? How much did we pay for this freaking ship? I can't get an HD floor.
And we do get a Dr. Sane appearance.
Is Dr. Sane human?
Yes, he is human. He is...
Because he looks kind of like a monkey man.
Well, he's like how we've mentioned this in the past, how like a lot of the anime shows always has a person that's like out of proportion or looks weird. That's what Dr. Sane is.
Dr. Sane's the comedy relief.
Yeah.
Basically. But in this episode, he's channeling Dr. McCoy.
Yeah, he is.
He's like, you will do this. I'll keep it quiet, but you will do this. Or you will be hospitalized.
Dun, dun, dun. I got another question. So... what happened to that gas he released in the throne room? That
went over and ate General Talon.
Ate everything. Look, I shoot it with energy and it feeds off of it. I throw the gun in and it... oh, crap. Gans, get over there. Throw yourself on it. No. Wait, you're dead already. I have to leave now. Have fun.
That's just it. He sets this out in the throne room. It's like, I gotta go to bed. Have fun.
You guys figure this out. We got to see I like to call it the Orion Fun Slide.
I love that thing.
It's like, where did that come from? I've never seen that before. You got the old guy, whee, going down to the... That's how he gets to the engine room so fast. He's got his own private slide. God forbid anybody down at the bottom slow to get off that slide when Orion comes down. Oh, I'm sorry, boy. You had to get out of my way. I'll blow your ass over.
Now, Paul.
Yes.
You're probably not familiar with the way the wave motion gun operates.
That would be correct.
Okay. They basically use all the power in the ship to create this huge destructive bolt, leaving the ship powerless for a brief period of time after it fires.
Mm-hmm.
So... obviously, this is the kind of thing you want to do when you're right next to a star.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
Well, they might have modified it, and this is now the quick fire wave motion gun. Because they did that in, 10 seconds?
Where it was, 10 minutes before?
Yeah, because usually it's like this big, massive build-up, and that annoying... it takes forever. This time I was like... So if it's a quick fire wave motion gun, it didn't kill all the energy, it only was like a quarter. Maybe it was the Xander wave motion gun. It only fires at a quarter of the power that it needed to. And I love how the corona matter of the star just stay out of the way long enough for them to get through. Like, what? Oh, man. I guess physics were out of the window for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we've seen that on a couple other ones. So.
Okay. So, I mean,
yeah.
It seems like you can't really think too hard about these episodes.
No, because
when they start to fall apart a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they are still children's programming. It may be...
And it's a known fact that children's programming cannot have an internal logic.
So, how did they get out of the net? I guess the gas ate the net?
Well, no, because there was... Deathlock said the only way they could get out of this net is if they go towards the star.
Towards the star.
Yeah.
Towards Voltan. Gordon's alive. And they dove in the star. Die! Right by the star. The Sea of Fire. Well, have we beat this one to death?
Yeah, I think so.
So I guess we're on to the last episode, eh?
Last episode for this half, yes.
For this half? All right. And I'm going to read that tonight. And this is episode 13, The Gamelon Pilot. On Gamelon, Leader Deathlock interrupts his daily treasure pool bath to commission one of his best generals, Lysol, depending on how you say it, to defeat the Star Force before it gets too far out into space. Lysol welcomes the chance for some sport. Meanwhile, Derek Wildstar and Conroy, his second-in-command, capture a Gamelon pilot during a routine patrol mission. When Dr. Insane removes the pilot's uniform, the Star Force discovers that the Gamelons are just like humans, but with blue skin. So the big giant Smurfs. The revelation is too much for Wildstar, who bursts in the examination room, catching a fatal Gamelon disease and dies. No, sorry. To confront the Gamelon, Derek has a series of flashbacks from his childhood. That's one pretty long flashback, and maybe he needs to not be in charge of the wave motion gun. Starting from the Gamelons bombing his home and continuing with his older brother Alex returning from school. When Alex was stationed at a space station on Great Island, who I think is a substitute for Japan, Derek visits him. During this visit, however, their parents are killed by one of the Gamelon bombs. In the Argo's examination room, Derek struggles to avoid exacting his revenge on the pilot. Captain Avatar questions the pilot, but learns nothing because apparently they wiped their memories, except for, I guess, what they need to know how to fly, before they leave the base, and subsequently orders the pilot released. In a goodwill gesture, Wildstar offers the pilot some food that he had peed on as he departs. Earth has 305 days left.
Okay.
And all I got to say is thank goodness for quick screen cuts, because I did not want to see little blue Deathlock coming out of that little pool. It's like, oh boy.
When you said treasure bath, all I could think of was Dom DeLuise.
I was thinking of Scrooge McDuck, too.
Okay. Apparently, everyone in the Star Force also had their memory wiped from 54 days earlier, because they have never seen a Gamelon before, except in episode 6, where they were captured and were face-to-face with a Gamelon.
That was when they were on the ice moon or whatever.
Yeah, they were on the...
Titan?
Yeah, because
Titanite. They were looking for the mineral Titanite, Paul.
And they were captured by a Gamelon. Wildstar saw the Gamelon, looked right in his face. Didn't have this reaction.
Well, it was adrenaline.
When?
During the fight. Yeah, I know that they look the same. But,
That's always bugged me. You know, even as a kid.
Oh, wait a minute.
That bugged me.
Okay, wait a minute. Did you... Here's the thing, one of the things that really bugged me in this episode. Did you not catch one of the crewmen when they were bringing the Gamelon pilot to the sickbay, what he says?
Yes, remind me.
We need a little excitement around here.
Yeah. Oh,
what?
Yeah, that idiot.
What? Oh, wait. So the Earth being decimated by radiation bombs, and you on a 1-year voyage to Iskandar, there and back, you're fighting your way every step of the way. That's not exciting enough for you? How about we just put you in here, you want some excitement? Here's the airlock. Go play, all right? Because then we'll have enough food that we gave the Gamelon. Because we don't have to feed you, dummy.
Yeah, that's something. It struck me. Avatar, in the same breath, we can't keep a prisoner because we only have enough food for ourselves. Why don't you give him some food when he leaves?
Wildstar, why don't you give him your ration? Make sure he's got prune juice in there.
And chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Okay. When little in the flashback sequence, when Alex opens up the little lunch pail that the parents had made, and he goes, "Oh, chocolate cake." That chocolate cake, I didn't pause it, but I went back and watched it twice. That looked more like sushi rolls to me.
It is sushi.
Okay, all right. Because I'm like, man, that's the nastiest tasting chocolate cake I would ever have. This tastes like fish. The hell is in this?
But remember, it's been Americanized, so they...
Yes, because they live on the Great Island, Japan, and the old volcano, Mount Fuji. And the radiation metaphor for Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
And just so you know, Bill, that is actually in the Japanese version. That is what it is. That is Mount Fuji erupting.
Oh,
from
well,
Japan.
yeah.
I mean, it's not exactly thinly veiled.
No. Well, I mean, it's just... Well, I don't even see why they couldn't have mentioned it here, but it's like, I don't know. It's like...
Chocolate cake, that's why.
Chocolate cake.
No, I read that in the Japanese version, when Wildstar has to be restrained, that he has a scalpel in his hand.
Yes.
That he's ready to kill the pilot with, and that they kind of cut the scene to eliminate that for the American audiences, feeling that it was too violent. And I had read that before I watched it, and when I watched it, you could kind of see that the cuts were clumsy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's too violent, but his entire family getting nuked and vaporized.
That's fine. That's fine.
I still had his brother until the Battle of Pluto, and then he lost him too.
I kind of felt that the episode of the three that I watched, that this one had the most sophisticated themes to it, with the confronting your enemy and going from a faceless enemy to actually being there. Mm-hmm. So I really appreciated that aspect of it. I did make a note, and I didn't specify anything. I didn't put any examples, but I thought the dialogue, though, because they were trying to be more sophisticated, the dialogue seemed a little bit even more clumsy than at other parts of the show. Maybe some of it's trying to sync the voices with the words with the way their mouths move. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't seem like that's such a priority that they could have done a little better on the dialogue.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought this like I said, I thought this was the most sophisticated of the three episodes, and I kind of liked it. And I think it would have played better if they had left the scalpel in. I thought that actually lost a little intensity with that.
I agree. Yeah.
One of the other things that was done at the episode we mentioned earlier, the one when they're on the Moon Titan, is that there's a scene where Wildstar jumps on the top of a tank and he shoots inside, and he says it's a robot tank, but actually, because they wanted to kind of curb the violence to make it seem like there was nobody in that particular tank, but actually, he had chopped up there and shot up all the guys inside the tank. And another thing that was in this episode is something that is brought out, is that Derek, as a child, was somewhat of a pacifist and didn't want to fight.
Right.
And that, obviously the death of his family and everything that happens completely changes him to the person that he is now. He's, bottled up a lot of grief as a child, and now he's face to face. Well, kind of. That's why the complete turnaround at the end is so...
It doesn't make sense.
No, I just don't... It's just like that. That's why I said, here's some food. I peed in it. Enjoy your trip home. Avatar said give you food. Didn't say it had to be edible.
And even if you haven't gone through what he did in your life, to be in this life or death struggle against these marauders, or whatever you'd call them, I do think you cannot afford to humanize them and start treating them with mercy, or you're going to set yourself up to fail.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I in that respect, I think that may have been a now, unless they want to build on that as the season goes on and have him show sympathy, or compassion somewhere where he shouldn't, and have that come back to bite them in the ass. I think that might if they did that, it would probably be a pretty good move. But to just have this and then have it like, now we're all sunshine and smiles, I don't think that works.
Yeah, it never made sense to me that he blames all Gamelons for his parents' death, and then it's just, oh yeah, well, I'm buddies with you now. Here, have some food.
Yeah, and it's all because when he goes ready, or obviously when he was going to go, it would have made more sense if they had shown the scalpel. Well, because, all right, why does the Gamelon start crying? I mean, is he just because he's scared? Well, how can he be? Okay, if your memory's been wiped and you don't know anything about Gamelon, I mean, how much do they wipe? Like, why did the Gamelon start to cry? Because he was scared? He was scared of a crazy-looking Wildstar? Maybe it was, if we had seen the scalpel, it would give him more reason why he was scared. And why would that even stop Wildstar? Because the Gamelon's crying.
Right.
I mean, I guess you could say it shows compassion, that even in Wildstar's rage, he can have compassion. But like Paul said, is that going to bite him in the ass down the road? There was another, Paul's not as up on the music as we are.
Yes.
And I'm sure when you heard the dirge, the one with the trumpet,
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, there goes the Wildstars, with the flute.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're gonna die. Boom. Planet bomb, toast.
Well, we knew they were going to die because a couple episodes ago he said,
well,
I have nobody to call.
Yeah. But still,
he had nowhere else to go.
He had no one else to call. but when that started to play, I'm like, this is where they're gonna bite it. Here it comes, and there it goes.
Oh, and I had to make a note because apparently Wildstar's always been a brat. Because his brother's home, he hasn't been home.
I wanted to go to movies.
Yeah, shut up. I'm gonna sit in my room and sulk.
Yeah, I want a kid that listens.
Now we know why he acts the way he does when he's an adult.
Yeah,
he's a jerk.
He's a schmuck. Well, this was in the live action movie. Although the Gamelons in the live action are not human.
They're an energy being.
Yeah, it's a little different.
That seems kind of counterintuitive, because in the cartoon where you can make them into whatever you want,
they're human.
They're just blue-skinned humans. And in the movie where you're limited, by your budget as far as special effects, that's the one with their energy beings.
Oh, man, this thing is like super laden with special effects.
Yeah. Space Battleship Yamato in Japan is a huge deal.
It's like the Japanese Star Wars and then some.
Yeah. So they made this live action movie in 2010, and they threw all kinds of money at it.
It's awesome.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah.
I think you would enjoy watching it.
Now, do you watch it, with subtitles, or is it dubbed?
I
don't know if there's a dub available for it or not.
Yeah, you got to watch the subtitles, which after a while you begin to recognize, like Wildstar is actually. Well, do they call him Wildstar? Or do they call him his?
No, it's all the Japanese characters.
Right. So he's his. What is his name in? Yeah, exactly.
Let's just live on the fantasy world where I have as much free time as I possibly could need to do whatever I feel like at a given time.
I think it's like 2 hours.
Would I be better off watching this entire cartoon series and then the movie, or the other way around?
Well, you'll get the homages in the movie after you've seen the cartoon series.
But I think really from these 3 episodes, you'll be able to get what the connections. The movie plot is super truncated from the TV series, and actually they changed some things. So you could watch them separately. You watch the movie before the cartoons, and I don't think you'll be negatively affected on either one.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like reading a big giant Stephen King book, which is what the series would be, versus watching a Stephen King movie. Whereas you have to truncate everything into a 2-hour or so period. So it's different, and it moves quicker. There are some slow episodes. They're not all. We get a lot in the series of stopping to get supplies and fixing this and then fighting that. The movie's pretty much we got this problem on Earth. We got to go. We got to fight. We got to get out. We get over here. We do a couple space warps. We meet the Gamelons, and I won't spoil the rest.
Yeah.
And then we got to get our asses. We got to try to get back to Earth to save the Earth.
I'm a little surprised if this is as big a deal in Japan as you're saying, that they didn't decide to make it as a trilogy or something like that, to spread it out.
Well, they can, because there's 3 seasons to the show. Actually 3 movies, correct, Gene? Well, there was the show, and then there was the movies.
There was season 1 of the show, and then they made a movie, and in the movie they destroyed the ship.
Right, that's it.
And
people went nuts.
People went nuts. How the hell could you do this? Then they came back and turned that plot in the movie into the second series, and didn't destroy the ship. And then there was the Bowler Wars, the 3rd season.
Yeah.
And then another movie.
Which again, I think they destroy the ship, or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these things take place in like different universes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they've had actual anime movies, and there's been a couple online. You can find other Star Blazers. Like there's a Star Blazers Resurrection, or Rebirth is another series I've seen. You've probably seen that too, Gene, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think I sent you some links for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then now there's the 2199, which is the retelling of this, but with all updated special effects. And then we've got the live action that came out in 2010.
Looking at Wikipedia, there's a huge amount of Yamato stuff.
Yeah.
It's a little bit overwhelming, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's series, there's movies, there's remakes, etc.
That's why we try to just try to take this series as it stands. I mean, we kind of point out a few things that are different, and that do come up that we think kind of change the tone.
Right.
But overall, we just try to stick to this version for now.
Right.
This is the nostalgia factor here.
Right. Yeah. Because this is what we grew up with.
That makes sense.
You stick with what you like.
Otherwise, why bother?
Yeah.
Well, seriously.
Yeah. If this was work, why would I do it?
But yeah, if you wanted to watch the movie, I'd say watch it.
Yeah. I would think even with reading the subtitles, because that can get annoying at times. Even with reading the subtitles, I think you would enjoy the movie because it's a very good plot, just standalone stuff. They got really good characters. Some of the changes they made from the cartoon, I like. So it's actually an improvement in some ways.
Well, like one thing that it's in the movie is that the energy being Gamelons can take over and kind of possess humans in the live action movie. So like there's a point where there's certain characters that are on the ship that are taken over and they have to, fight against their own people. Adds that's something that was never in the show, at least that I remember.
Right. Yeah, it's something I think I can get myself to find time to watch a movie. So if I get access to it at some point, I will do that.
Whole thing's on YouTube.
We'll send you the link.
And that one actually works on the
that one does do
one.
Yeah, that one does do. You can go HD in that, I think, right?
Yeah, because I watched it through my PlayStation.
Okay, good.
On my TV, so I know that works.
Cool. I will do that.
I would say if you wanted to compare, you probably need what would you say, Gene? He would need to watch episode 1 and 2 of the animated series.
Just keep adding to my homework.
No. I mean, just if you wanted to compare the start of the series versus the movie,
I would say that's probably got the biggest connection. Especially episode 2, where they launched the ship.
Yeah, that's just
that is basically remade shot for shot.
Yeah.
In live action, and it is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's why I would say to watch those first 2 episodes, or just the second one, and then we'll watch the movie.
Or I would say you don't have to. You could just watch the movie straight out, and you'd be fine. Trust me, I know what the time factor is like.
Mm-hmm.
So adding an extra 40 minutes to it, not necessarily going to benefit you a huge amount. It would be nice, but I would just go straight to the movie, and that's that.
Well, we could all do a commentary on the movie when we meet up in June.
That will be fun.
We'll have it at the con.
We will tie down Scott Gardner and make him one.
Oh no, that's right. That's right.
He's going to listen to this and suddenly, oh, I can't make it.
Is that chopped sake stuff? No, Scott doesn't say that. That's just me putting words in his mouth. Sorry about that. Oh, so where we at? Where are we at time-wise?
Long.
All right, skip the emails.
I would say we put the emails.
Oh, yes.
Maybe we put the emails at the beginning of the next show.
Yeah, before we do the movie. Yeah, before we talk about the movie.
Because it's not going to be a commentary or anything. It's just going to be.
Oh, that's true.
Talking
That's true.
About the movie, so we'll have
I did
time.
not think about that. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that way we can just do emails and then we can discuss that. And
Yep.
Okay, cool.
We don't want to take up any more of our listeners' valuable time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, we do. As much as you want to take up as much of their valuable time as they want to give you. That's the whole point of it.
So are we out already, or did we go out on something over there, or should we? Do we need to do a Paul? Where can we find you at?
I think we need to, because Paul has a couple shows going on here.
Well,
Okay.
Well, I'm going to talk about them anyway because I have Back to the Bins, which I co-host with Dr. Bill and Scott Gardner when he can make it to us, and I have Avengers Spotlight, which I co-host with Dr. Bill and Scott Gardner when he can make it to us,
and when I
have listened to the Prophets, on which we have had guest stars by Dr. Bill. But I co-host that one with Andy Leyland and Sean Engel. And that one is a Deep Space Nine podcast, and they're all available on the Two True Freaks network. And if you go to iTunes under Two True Freaks Presents, you can find all of them.
And they're all very good shows. I highly recommend them.
And coming soon, there'll be a second guest star on those shows who could be, other than Paul and I, could be on this show.
Could be. It could be someone that wrote an angry email and to appease him.
But, you know, my problem is, if you're on the show, who do we have left to listen to it?
I'll listen.
There's at least one other guy writing emails, so I think you're okay.
All right, well, I'll go with that.
I don't write emails. I just boss hog my way on the show.
Visit our website at twotruefreaks.com. Two True Freaks is always spelled TWOTRUEFREAKS.
You can email Two True Freaks directly at twotruefreaks@gmail.com.
Two True Freaks and all of its excellent affiliates are available on iTunes, and you can choose to subscribe to either the entire network if you wish, or pick whichever individual shows you want to follow. We have so many shows to choose from, there's just bound to be one that appeals to your particular fandom. Just search Two True Freaks with an exclamation mark at the end, space, and the number 2.
You can find Two True Freaks on Facebook. Just search for Two True Freaks. Dumbass. If you ever leave your house and you actually have friends, why don't you tell them about Two True Freaks?
If you've enjoyed our show, please, won't you take a moment to rate us on iTunes? That helps others find the show, too.
Thanks for listening.
And join us every Monday for new episodes of
Two True Freaks.
Anime Frax. What the hell is that? Oh, that was my notes. But I'm freaking frack. Anime Frax. Like, become a Battlestar Galactica podcast? Or what the hell? Okay.
Anime Frax. We're drilling for anime in whole new ways.
We're drilling in asteroids. I guess you wouldn't have horizontal drilling on an asteroid. Because you could drill from any.
Depends on your orientation. Could be horizontal, whatever coordinate system you pick. I'm dropping into engineer speak. Never mind me.
Gene's engineer. Gene's smart. He makes podcasts fast. Gene make podcasts go.
I just heard that today on a gaming podcast.
I just heard that recently on another podcast somewhere else too. I don't know where. I think
you said it.
Yeah, what was
the last time I heard.
Oh, that's right. I did do that one. That's that gaming podcast. I forgot about that one.
Oh, the new one that just came out.